The vast emptiness of space stretched before Proxima Centauri 7, a rocky planet that seemed insignificant to most galactic travelers. On this distant world, a small human colony stood as a testament to human determination. Captain J. Park walked along the settlement's perimeter, his boots crunching against the gravelly terrain. The colony looked nothing like the grand space settlements depicted in old movies. Modular buildings made of reinforced alloys dotted the landscape, connected by transparent walkways that allowed residents to move between structures without exposure to the harsh external environment. Solar panels gleamed in the weak sunlight, and communication arrays rose like silent sentinels watching the sky. Lieutenant Yoon Kim approached, her tablet displaying a series of complex sensor readings. "Incoming signals," she said, her voice calm and measured. "Something big is approaching." J. Park didn't respond immediately. His eyes scanned the horizon, taking in every detail of the landscape. Years of military training had taught him that preparation meant survival. The colony's defensive systems were unlike anything traditional military strategists would design. They were adaptive, flexible, almost organic in their complexity. The first signs of the alien approach came as subtle disturbances in the planet's electromagnetic field. Most would have missed these minute changes, but the colony's advanced detection systems caught every tiny fluctuation. Yoon's fingers danced across her tablet, triggering a series of automated defense protocols. "Xylarian configuration," she muttered. "Classic invasion pattern." The Xylarian fleet was known throughout the galaxy as a ruthless, conquering force. They had dismantled civilizations twice the size of the human settlement without breaking a sweat. Their technology was generations ahead of most species, their military tactics considered unbeatable. They clearly hadn't met this particular human colony. In the command center, a group of technicians and military personnel moved with a synchronized precision that seemed almost choreographed. No panic, no fear, just pure, calculated preparation. Each person knew their role, understood the potential threat, and was ready to adapt at a moment's notice. Commander Sung Lee stood at the central holographic display, watching the alien fleet's approach. His fingers occasionally tapped commands, adjusting defensive parameters in real time. The colony's defense system was a living, breathing network that could reconfigure itself faster than any traditional military system. The alien ships were massive, kilometers long, with sleek metallic hulls that reflected the starlight. They moved with a predatory grace, seemingly confident in their superiority. Typical invasion vessels, designed to intimidate and crush resistance before it could even begin. But this wasn't a typical colony. And these weren't typical humans. Chai Choi, the colony's tactical specialist, began running complex simulation models, her computer screens filled with rapidly changing data, predictive algorithms calculating potential engagement scenarios faster than the human eye could follow. Where traditional military strategists would see only chaos, she saw opportunity. Outside, the first wave of alien reconnaissance drones appeared. Silent, deadly, designed to map and analyze potential invasion routes. They moved with mechanical precision, scanning the planet's surface for vulnerabilities. They would find none. J. Park watched the incoming vessels with a strange sense of calm. Most commanders would be preparing evacuation protocols or desperate defense strategies. He was planning something entirely different. The colony's true strength wasn't in its weapons or defensive capabilities. It was in the mindset of its inhabitants. Adaptability, innovation, the ability to turn limitations into advantages. As the alien fleet drew closer, the human settlement seemed almost peaceful. No frantic movements, no visible preparations for war, just a quiet, calculated readiness that would soon prove to be something the Xylarians had never encountered before. The first phase of contact was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same. The first Xylarian dropships entered the planet's atmosphere with a thunderous roar. Sleek and metallic, they looked like sharp blades cutting through the sky. Each vessel carried elite combat units, trained to crush resistance in minutes. They expected an easy victory, a quick conquest of another insignificant human settlement. They were wrong. Lieutenant Yoon Kim monitored the incoming vessels through her advanced tracking system. Her fingers moved swiftly across holographic displays, triggering a series of complex defensive protocols. The colony's systems were not traditional military defenses. They were living networks, capable of adapting in milliseconds. The dropships landed in perfect military formation. Xylarian soldiers emerged, their armor gleaming with advanced technology. Plasma weapons hung from their sides, capable of destroying entire structures with a single shot. They moved with mechanical precision, expecting no resistance, but resistance was exactly what they would find. Captain J. Park watched from a hidden observation point. No panic crossed his face. No fear showed in his eyes. Just a calculated understanding of the unfolding battle. He had prepared for this moment long before the aliens arrived. The first wave of Xylarian troops advanced across the rocky terrain. Their scanning equipment showed no significant defensive structures, no visible weapon systems, just modular buildings and solar panels. They believed the human settlement was defenseless. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted, electromagnetic. Pulse generators hidden beneath the planet's surface activated, designed to look like simple geological formations. These devices were anything but ordinary. They created localized disruption fields that instantly disabled the aliens' advanced communication and weapon systems. The Xylarian soldiers found themselves blind. Their advanced technology became useless chunks of metal. Tactical communication networks collapsed. Weapon systems shut down without warning. Commander Sung Lee's voice crackled through a secure communication channel. "Initiate Phase 2, he said calmly. From seemingly innocent solar panel arrays, hidden weapon systems emerged. They were not traditional weapons. They were improvised, adaptable systems that could change configuration faster than the aliens could comprehend. Focused energy beams targeted specific weak points in alien armor. Chai Choi, the tactical specialist, watched the engagement through multiple simulation screens. Each alien movement was predicted, each potential counteraction already planned. The colony's defense system was more than a military strategy. It was a living, thinking organism. The Xylarian commander, Voxil, couldn't believe what was happening. His elite invasion force was being systematically dismantled by a settlement that appeared technologically inferior. No species had ever defeated their invasion forces so quickly. Drone swarms launched from hidden underground facilities. They weren't large or powerful, but they were numerous and intelligent. Each drone communicated with the others, creating a collective intelligence that overwhelmed the alien tactical systems. Within minutes, the first wave of Xylarian troops was neutralized. Not through overwhelming force, but through intelligent, adaptive strategy. The humans had turned the aliens' technological superiority into a weakness. Voxel watched in disbelief as his invasion force crumbled. These humans were not like any species they had encountered before. They didn't fight with traditional military might. They fought with creativity, with intelligence, with a level of adaptability that seemed almost impossible. The battle was over before it truly began. Captain, J. Park allowed himself a small smile. The first engagement had been successful, but he knew this was just the beginning. The Xylarians would not accept defeat easily. They would return with more forces, more advanced technology, and the human colony would be ready. As dust settled on the battlefield, broken alien technology scattered across the rocky terrain. One thing became clear. This was not a typical human settlement. This was something entirely different. A living, thinking defensive system that saw war not as a contest of strength, but as a complex problem to be solved. The Xylarian communication networks buzzed with confusion and fear after their first devastating defeat. Their intelligence teams struggled to understand the human colony's strange defensive strategies. What they discovered was more terrifying than any weapon. Haya Choi sat in the colony's analysis center, her eyes scanning through intercepted alien communications. Each message revealed more about the Xylarian psychology than they realized. Where most species would retreat, these humans saw an opportunity to learn and adapt. Commander Sung Lee reviewed the data streams. The human colony wasn't just defending itself. It was studying the enemy with clinical precision. Every alien communication was dissected, every transmission analyzed. The humans were turning psychological warfare into an art form. The Xylarian leadership began to panic. Their standard invasion protocols had never encountered a species that responded to threat with such calculated curiosity. Psychological profiles of human soldiers showed something unprecedented, a complete absence of traditional fear responses. Voxel, the alien commander, watched transmission logs with growing horror. Human communication channels remained calm. No signs of stress, no panic, just cold logical assessment of the situation. It was as if the entire colony was a single, thinking organism. Tactical modifications began almost immediately. The humans started repurposing captured Xylarian technology. Communication devices became signal jammers. Weapon fragments were transformed into defensive tools. Each piece of alien equipment was studied, understood, and reimagined. Lieutenant Yoon Kim developed a series of communication protocols designed to psychologically destabilize the alien force. They weren't aggressive messages. Instead, they were calculated, almost casual communications that suggested the humans viewed the invasion as a minor inconvenience. Small drone systems began broadcasting strange signals, mathematical puzzles, complex scientific calculations, music from different human cultures, random data streams that made no sense to the alien intelligence systems. It was psychological warfare at its most bizarre. The Xylarian troops started experiencing unexplained psychological breakdowns. Their advanced neural networks, designed to maintain perfect combat readiness, began to malfunction. They couldn't process the humans' unconventional approach to conflict. Captain J. Park understood the true weapon wasn't technology. It was mindset. The colony transformed every limitation into an advantage. Limited resources became opportunities for innovation. Technological disadvantages became chances to think differently. Where other species saw obstacles, humans saw challenges to be solved. Alien intelligence reports began showing strange patterns. Human soldiers didn't display standard stress responses. Pain, danger, potential death, these were simply problems to be solved. Their psychological profiles showed a terrifying adaptability that defied conventional understanding. Captured Xylarian communication logs revealed growing confusion. The humans weren't just resisting, they seemed to be enjoying the challenge. Each alien strategy was met with a response so unexpected, so creative, that it destabilized entire invasion planning systems. Psychological warfare became a two-way street. While the humans studied the aliens found themselves increasingly unable to predict human behavior. Traditional intimidation tactics failed completely. The human colony responded to threat with curiosity, to danger with innovation. Commander Sung Lee's strategy was simple: turn the enemy's strengths into weaknesses. Every Xylarian communication protocol became a potential entry point. Every invasion strategy became a puzzle to be solved. The entire colony functioned like a massive, interconnected intelligence network. Voxel realized something terrifying. These humans didn't just want to survive. They wanted to understand, to learn, to adapt. The invasion had become a scientific expedition from the human perspective. As alien troops began experiencing collective psychological breakdowns, the human colony continued its calm, calculated response. No excitement, no fear, just pure logical adaptation. The psychological warfare had begun, and the humans were winning in ways the Xylarians could never have imagined. The colony wasn't just defending itself, it was rewriting the rules of interstellar conflict, one unexpected response at a time. Captain J. Park studied the holographic maps of incoming Xylarian reinforcements. Their second wave was massive, 3 times the previous invasion force. Most species would be terrified. The human colony saw an opportunity. They think they've learned from their first defeat, Lieutenant Yoon Kim said, her fingers dancing across complex communication interfaces. They're wrong. The colony's defensive systems had been completely redesigned. What looked like simple solar panels and communication arrays were now adaptive weapon platforms. Each structure could reconfigure itself in milliseconds, turning from a peaceful installation to a combat-ready system without warning. Hai Choi had spent weeks analyzing captured Xylarian technology. Every piece of alien equipment became a potential weapon. Communication devices were transformed into signal disruptors. Weapon fragments became improvised defensive tools. Nothing was wasted. The first wave of Xylarian ships entered the planetary atmosphere, confident in their overwhelming numerical superiority. Their advanced sensors showed what appeared to be a vulnerable settlement. They didn't realize they were flying into a carefully prepared trap. Commander Sung Lee activated the first layer of defense. The entire planetary surface seemed to come alive. What looked like geological formations were actually complex electromagnetic generators. They created localized disruption fields that instantly neutralized alien technology. Drone swarms launched from hidden underground facilities. They weren't large or powerful individually, but they moved with a collective intelligence that overwhelmed the alien tactical systems. Each drone communicated with the others, creating a network more intelligent than any single weapon. Voxel, the alien commander, watched in growing horror as his invasion force fell apart. The humans weren't just defending. They were turning the invasion into a complex problem-solving exercise. Improvised weapons emerged from unexpected locations. Communication arrays transformed into energy projection systems. Solar panels became sophisticated targeting mechanisms. The entire colony was a living, breathing combat system. The Xylarian troops found themselves fighting an enemy that didn't follow any known combat rules. Traditional military strategies collapsed. The humans treated war like a complex puzzle, constantly adapting, constantly changing. J. Park's strategy was brutally simple. Turn the enemy's strengths into weaknesses. Use their own technology against them. Treat every challenge as an opportunity for innovation. Alien communication networks began to collapse. Their advanced technology became a liability. Each transmission was intercepted, analyzed, and used against them. The humans were learning faster than the Xylarians could adapt. Underground facilities housed complex manufacturing systems. Captured, alien technology was quickly reverse-engineered. Weapon systems were rebuilt, improved, transformed into something entirely new. The colony didn't just defend, it evolved. Lieutenant Yoon Kim tracked the battle through multiple simulation screens. Each alien movement was predicted, each potential counteraction already planned. The defense system was more than a military strategy. It was a living, thinking organism. Voxel realized they had made a terrible mistake. These weren't typical humans. This wasn't a standard colony. This was something entirely different. A living, adaptive intelligence that saw war as a complex problem to be solved. The counteroffensive wasn't about destroying the enemy. It was about understanding them, learning from them, turning their invasion into a massive intelligence-gathering operation. As alien ships fell from the sky, burning against the planet's atmosphere, the human colony remained calm. No panic, no fear, just pure, calculated adaptation. The second invasion was failing before it had truly begun. Captain J. Park watched the battle unfold, a slight smile crossing his face. The Xylarians had come looking for a quick conquest. Instead, they had found something they could never have expected. A human colony that didn't just survive. A human colony that transformed conflict into an opportunity for growth. The counteroffensive continued, and nothing would ever be the same. News traveled fast across galactic communication networks. A small human colony had not just survived an invasion, but completely dismantled one of the most powerful alien military forces in known space. The Xylarian Confederacy's communication channels burned with confusion and embarrassment. Their elite invasion force, considered unbeatable for centuries, had been systematically destroyed by a settlement that appeared technologically primitive. Captain J. Park sat in the colony's central command, watching transmission logs from various alien communication networks. He wasn't celebrating. He was analyzing, understanding how this victory would change everything. Lieutenant Yoon Kim monitored interstellar communication bands. Reports were streaming in from dozens of alien civilizations. Each transmission carried a mixture of fear, respect, and pure disbelief. The humans had done something unprecedented. Commander Sung Lee understood the deeper implications. This wasn't just a military victory. This was a complete redefinition of interstellar conflict. The humans had shown that technology wasn't about having the most advanced weapons. It was about adaptability, intelligence, problem-solving. HFY Choi tracked the psychological impact across alien communication networks. Fear was spreading faster than information. Alien species were reassessing their understanding of human capabilities. What else might these humans be capable of? The Xylarian leadership faced total humiliation. Their military strategists couldn't explain how a small colony could defeat their most advanced invasion force. Their communication logs showed growing panic. Their military reputation was in tatters. Alien diplomatic channels began asking questions. How had humans developed such adaptive technology? What was the secret of their defensive capabilities? The colony remained silent, adding to the growing mystique. Transmission logs from different galactic civilizations revealed a growing respect. Where humans were once seen as a minor, insignificant species, they were now viewed as a potential threat. A civilization that could turn limitation into strength. Voxil, the defeated alien commander, submitted his final report. It read more like a warning than a military assessment. The humans were not what they appeared to be. They were something entirely different. The colony's reputation began to grow, not through aggressive expansion, not through massive military displays, but through a demonstration of pure, calculated intelligence. Other alien species began studying the communication logs. They discovered something terrifying. The humans hadn't just defended themselves. They had treated the entire invasion as a massive learning opportunity. Every alien technology was studied. Every strategy analyzed. Captain J. Park understood the long-term implications. This wasn't about winning a single battle. This was about changing how intelligent species view conflict, turning challenges into opportunities for growth and understanding. The galactic communication networks continued to buzz. Rumors spread. Theories developed. But one thing became clear. Humans were no longer going to be ignored. Small diplomatic missions began arriving. Alien civilizations wanted to understand, to learn, to discover the secret of human adaptability. The colony remained calm, treating each arrival as another chance to learn. Lieutenant Yoon Kim tracked the growing interest. Scientific organizations, military researchers, diplomatic missions, all wanted to understand how a small colony had achieved the impossible. The Xylarian Confederacy began a complete restructuring of their military strategies. Their defeat had exposed fundamental weaknesses in their approach to conflict. The humans had shown that intelligence was the ultimate weapon. Commander Sung Lee saw the bigger picture. This wasn't just about one colony. This was about demonstrating a fundamentally different approach to existence, turning challenges into opportunities, viewing limitations as chances for innovation. As galactic reputation spread, the human colony continued its daily operations. No celebration, no dramatic announcements, just continued adaptation, continued learning. The message was clear. Humans were not just another species. They were something different, something unexpected. Captain J. Park looked out over the colony's landscape. They had done more than survive an invasion. They had changed how intelligent species would view conflict forever.